Lean on me when you're not strong. You see, I'm here to teach and comfort people, because Jah put her here so for do the work there, you know. And I'm on CI self and many others who deal with music the right way, as Moses, and reggae music especially is the rod. See, I'm gonna say music is the rod and we are Moses, leading God's children to the promised land. Listen, it's growing love inside of me. Yes, it is showing, shining so bright. It's growing. I know this love of mine. Yes, it is showing. Yeah, just in time. So long we've been together. Can't keep you to myself. Got to share you with another. Got to share you with someone else. It's growing. Love inside of me. Yes, it is showing. Shining so bright. It's growing. Yes, it is showing. Just in time. Come on, my brothers and sisters, let's not waste our time. We've got to move. I see myself as a messenger of Jah. You know? Yes, I see myself as a messenger of Jah. I put through certain works in a musical form. I love all music.
For I, Alice the last of the first, who lives and rules and reigns over all living things. Run it, my band.
When the church is at field, reggae music through the Rastafari influence did awaken the conscience and the consciousness of the minds and the mentality of the youth.
Yeah, like I say in one of my songs, music is the rod and we are Moses. The rod which strikes the rock. You know? So this rod now is striking the heart of the people, making true love flow.
We have the power to turn things around. For us to stand up when we fall to the ground. I say this with a smile, pause for a while.
There's certain youth now who really make some positive move. Take for instance Garnet Silk. A great guy. He's another ambassador to the reggae industry. Wow. The next couple of years of everything and the Lord shine his light, see me. I just figure out where the youth they're going history.
28-year-old entertainer Garnet Silk is dead. He and his 53-year-old mother, Dulce Gray, were burnt to death in her one-apartment house at Hatfield District near Mandeville. Since the incident, the Mandeville police and forensic experts have been working round the clock to find out just how Garnet Silk and his mother died.
The latest on that incident is that we have finally classified that as a accidental death as a result of a cylinder that exploded when it was hit by a round from a shotgun.
As news of the incident spread, scores of people converged on the burnt-out remains of the one-bedroom apartment house. I'm Robert Roy for JBC News.
Listen, my son, the prophets have come. Music is the rod and we are Moses today. Leading God's children to the promised land.
This is what we call the Dancehall Reggae News. We welcome you all here inside the Ounce Leo. Every Thursday night jamboree on premise.
No stress. No. Tell me, why are you scared of me? I really seem so threatening? Why are you scared of me? I'm only trying to make a living. Man, you see me from the street and you know want to talk to me. That I feel your business and not feel me, you see. Me name when me name and come to do with me, I do. Every man have to go through. Why are you scared of me? Do I really seem so threatening? Why are you scared of me? I'm only trying to make.
No, I don't. Well, we said it. And when you come on Sunday, you will see a demonstration of it. Sea moss is a sea vegetation. It has calcium iodide, potassium chlorine. It has all of the minerals of the iodine world, which come from bromide, potassium bromide. Okay, these things give the bone strength. This is why many times I demonstrate, I fall on my knees on concrete. I tell you what, and I jump right back up. I don't feel anything. Okay. Okay. My wife will have another thing besides the CMOS. She will have the Biento. The Biento is a package that I put together 4 years ago, but it just came on the market a year ago. It is a combination of oxygen and iron. When I take 3 of them, I don't have to eat anything until I eat it. I eat a salad. And that's it. A salad. And I'm not going to eat tofu because tofu is dangerous. Tofu, look, let me tell you something. When you eat tofu, tofu gonna rob you of your iron, and it's gonna deliver a lot of oxide in your body. Tofu is extremely bad. Look, I have had 3 people that came to me. One was Eddie first fiance. She was suffering with extreme anemia for years and years and years, and she was born of a cesarean, and she ate tofu 3 times a day. And she never saw blood in her hand. And when I took her off the food and I removed the sulfide, that is what tofu delivers. Please, 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 please listen to this. Tofu will deliver sulfide in your body, and sulfide will eat up your iron. Anyone that eats tofu is extremely weak. So we got to stay away from it. We have to. So we intend to open a place here in Atlanta to teach how we can come together and collectively provide ourselves with the food, because we are buying these farms in Florida where we're going to grow our food organically. We're going to Venezuela on next Wednesday to build the village of the myth where we could go and heal ourselves. We have to come together as a family again, like the village, that we can provide ourselves these things. I can't do them for all of us, but together we can do them for ourselves. So on Sunday,
name would be asked to be given to be part of this new development, the organic world, the African biomineral balance, the electric food, the world of the electric. Okay? Okay? Now you're quite welcome. Okay, now hold up. I have one question. What time tomorrow? No, it's on Sunday. What time Sunday? What Sunday is tomorrow? Because it's after 12, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Tomorrow. You're right. You're absolutely right. Okay, I'm 5:30, sir. 5:30 p.m.? Yes, sir. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Become remember you, that's why I die. Respect for blessed man and bless my life. Respect for blessed man and bless my life. Respect for blessed man and bless my life. Survival group up in the wild. Survival back in London and not challenge. No doubt rekindle with distinguished crime. And the girls and now the broad daylight. And the girls and now the dash away the young, dash away the young. You leave a mother.
You know you can run what up in there. You could have full of swords in your mouth. Janja, me father. Oh, now, when you lock up the city, oh, you can take it down. Even man, we ain't gonna have no pity. Oh, hey, I got this road both day and night. And every morning as I rise, I pray. Never let nothing get in my way. You know, say, judge, I pray. And you evil men, I don't understand. When people in my father's plan, this time you won't get that way. Evil men, you will have to pray. For his father won't be this. You know, you know what I'm saying. I want the keys to the city. You know you can't handle what I did. You could have swear to you was. Jaja, me how I tough. I try to live as best as I can. I try my best not to hurt anyone. Living that sticky, that's right. That's the way I can rest the man. Again, only people hear these words and say, make we go down on our knees and pray, so we can live to see another day. Give thanks to Jah, I say. Over me, Father, for me, keys with the city. You know you can't run no matter. You do that, you go back up to the universe. Jah, Jah, me, Father, you again for me, Father, for me, keys with the city. You know you can't run no matter.
Mark Armstrong McGregor on your station for progressive information and good quality music. Thank you for tuning in with us. We have special vibe to share with you this afternoon. As we said, we're just making sure that the sound is right for you. In the meantime, in between time, I want to tune into this. We started off with Sweet Honey in the Rock, singing out the water. We're grateful for Sweet Honey in the Rock for the years. I mean, years without fears and plenty tears. You know what I mean? You can say without fears. You don't know what I mean, though. When we're talking about they presented to us a healing balm that, you know, for a few generations, empowered people to really see who it is that they are in the midst of all kinds of violence, all kind of adverse, let's just say adverse vibes. That's the power of the music and the musicians. And we're grateful to the station for progressive information and handpicked quality music. Listen.
So you lie down and you think that you won. Meditation in my eyes, in my eyes. Then I find the fire, and I feel a little time. Tell me what you want to do now. Tell me what you want to do now. Tell me what we gonna do now. Let me use our damn rules. Now what I do, and I do.
You will hear what you tell us saying about the select. Music is life. Voice of the people. The voice of the American. You tune into the true voice, you know. We're not talking about the noise. It's one creation.
So you lock them down and you think that you won, but them are whole of meditation. In my I'm not him, I live on right. Tell me what you wanna do now. Tell me what you gonna do now. Tell me what you gonna do now. Let me use our damn rules. Now what I do and I lose. You can't hide the truth from the youth. You can't steal the truth, not the rules. I say you. from the youth. You can't steal the fruit, not the roots. Got the youth, how they rule. Come together, get it, what do you not feeling? Come around with your white light, trying to blind everyone's eyes, but them I wanna meditation. Them a color of the bar eye, and I live, I live right. So tell me what you wanna do now. I tell you what you gonna do now. What you gonna do? Tell me what you gonna do now. They think you are what they're rude. You can't lock the door and I do. You can't hide the truth from the youth. You can't steal the fruit, not the root. But the youth are what they're rude. You can't walk the door and I lose. You can't hide the truth from the youth. You can't steal the fruit, not the root. Hey, but the youth are what they're rude. Live up now, live up now, live up now. Hey, live up now, live up now. You want for what you're rude. Them can't walk the door and I lose. They can't hide the truth from the youth. You can't steal the fruit, not the root. Cause the youth are what they're good. Teach people truth. Oh, royal African people. Yes, I must still love them. Who's gonna teach them the truth? Who's gonna teach them the truth? Who's gonna teach them the truth? The African creation life.
Just only go to one channel. One here. I thought it was just maybe one file on the screen, but that's my main thing. I should be going live with get out and Empires of Peru, of some Kushnapata, Timbuktu. The village of Tofu, to Tanzaniano. See to the eye of Eru, we journey to the mountains of the moon. The OAU, I Selassie, I Negas, Legos. Come teach the youth the truth, them royal Yes, indeed. We got it together for you. This is the Ancestral Rock on your station for progressive information. It's a joy to play some music in the neighborhood this afternoon. We're thankful for your presence, you know. That's the reason why we do this, to touch base with the family. So when the family is there, touching base with I and I, it's one of them symbiotic relationships that help us to fulfill the mission. Both of us, all of us. As we said, we have some special treat for you. We have some special guests coming on, and we're going to feature a little bit of an interview we did with Dr. Mark Armstrong of Ahimki Center for Wholeness. Right now, you're listening to the man called Batch, Ras Batch. Big up our brother Batch, long time family. Along with the Zioneers, used to come through here, you know, and set off some real positive musical healing for the people. Listen music, y'all.
To sing on with an hydrogen song, to introspect from humane reasons. Yeah. After all is said and all is done, see my one. Same world reaction to hate and to love. Same I want. Let them see it when the lion on the fly up in a dome. Seeking balance. Same I want. There's a natural mystic in the earth, that's what they really don't know. Spiritual uprising in the people with a burning glow. Confident in the victory over evil in the summer Gideon. It's a cold world, but the old world of a witness of redemption. After all is said and all is done, same I want now. Same world reaction to hate and to love. Same I want now. Let them see it when the lion on the fly up in a dove. Seeking balance. Same I want now. I want now. This is a highly salutation to all the world nation. Feel of your husband, see what the brink of devastation. World redemption has from mediation. Bring more balance, dance, and raise in all the lands. Before nuclear pretense was nuclear aspiration. The root of the thought as a method of deterrence. The converse results that will encourage all to stand. The positive and the negative and the neutral match up. And the one check of humanity and to everyone. World needs some conscience to be fair to woman. Just want the family and me can't take much one. See my one now. See my oppressing the poor, we can't take it no more. I am sure that unity will bring us back to the core. Like before, when we were one, like the sea and the shore. What is yours is not for the other. Go to a door. Where's the love in the tone? Where's the joy in the throne? You're a king. Where's the crown? Every word carries on. I want to see the world. What your message and think about it, man. What diplomacy said the world. This in a symmetrical set. Let's encourage you to be working on their identity. Like a jumping on the flow of the ocean. This way. This one.
I came back by the mighty trumpet alongside the principal fight. It was a hot piece actually. I want to say a hot pocket. You know? And thanks for the music, you know, again, consistent music that reflects the aspiration, higher aspiration for the people. Really expressive. A little sound is powerful. Stay tuned to yourself, you know. We'll be right for it right after these very important messages.
Atlanta's wildest community dam, CND marching on hold, has been entertaining audiences for over 50 years. The band operates a 501c3 nonprofit endowment fund that supports underfunded music education programs throughout Atlanta. The endowment provides microgrants to schools and other community groups, especially those that teach the art of marching band music. To learn more about the endowment's work, including the recent grant recipients, the website is cendowment.org.
This has been another public service announcement from your listener-sponsored and supported community radio station, WRFG 89.3 FM and WRFG.org. On Saturday, February 1st, from 5 to 8 p.m., HABESHA Inc., Atlanta's premier Pan-African organization, will be holding its 23rd Earth Day celebration. This year's theme is Earth's Elements, celebrating tradition and sustainability. That's 23 years as a nonprofit organization serving the Atlanta community by cultivating leadership in youth and families through practical experiences in cultural education, sustainable agriculture, entrepreneurship, technology, and holistic health. Guests will receive a 3-course plant-based meal and live entertainment. Once again, the event will be held on Saturday, February 1st from 5 to 8 p.m. and will be hosted at the Arts Exchange, located at 2148 Noonan Street, East Point, Georgia. For more information, HABESHAinc.org. This has been another public service announcement from your listener-sponsored and supported community radio station, WRFG 89.3 FM, WRFG.org.
One about schooling and different things that he has experienced in life to bring him to this point where he is one of our very cherished community healers. So without any further ado, I want to bring him on now. Taking time with us on his day off. Be here. Dr. Armstrong, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to
thank you. Thank you so much, Brother Coffee, for the invitation, and to all of our listeners out there, free the land, and to our ancestors, Hotep.
We give thanks. We give thanks. Dr. Mark, we were saying off the line, it's such a joy for me to be having these conversations. I feel like I have the opportunity to let a whole bunch of people in on some meaningful personal conversations that I would be having anyway, whether or not we had this platform and a radio show and all that. So there's so much that I'd like to share, to talk with you about today. As I was preparing for the program, I was just reflecting, one of the great healers of our time, Dr. Laila Africa. Today is actually his birthday, the author of African Holistic Health and all of that.
Yes.
Thinking about the paradigm shifting that's happening, and how often as spectators, we enjoy the fruit of people's labor. We always do. All humanity does, whether they know it or not. They're enjoying the fruit of their predecessors' labor. And I'm thinking, though, about the people. Sometimes our consciousness zooms in on what it must be like for people who bring forth revolutionary information, who push the envelope, who pierce,
Yes.
To bring humanity forward. So I want to start there with you, and get a little bit more information about who you are, who is Dr. Mark Armstrong, and what really, maybe way we can hear some anecdotes that really bring it home to us. What inspired you to see the healer within yourself?
Yes.
What let's take it back as far as we can go. What's your first memory of being conscious of your ability to affect change in any kind of way?
It starts with my grandparents. It starts with my mother and father. They grew up in the South, and so their roots were very close to the earth. My grandfather owned a farm, and you know, he was very connected to the community consciously. And so my mom passed that on to me, and I spent summers with my grandfather. So I was constantly learning about roots and herbs and white lightning, elixirs, homeopathics. And he practiced a religion called Ifa. So I knew about deities. I knew about the power of elevating the deities and an altar, ancestral altar. Those were the things that I observed. That was my appreciation because some of those things that he did actually worked on my health.
This is your grandfather?
My grandfather, Oliver Willis, yes.
Where was this? What part of the?
In Pineapple, Alabama.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, we still have land down there called Willis's Quarters. We bought the land and we sold pulpwood to Birmingham, Alabama newspaper. So, you know, we come from, you know, that mighty beginning, and that goes back generations. And so my family has always been conscious that way and serving that way. And I'm just part of the lineage, part of the tribe.
Wow. You just opened up a whole new thing for me. I didn't know that. So, Dr. Mark, obviously, growing up in a, well, maybe not so, I want to ask instead of assume, what your grandfather practiced, and maybe was that unique? First of all, the first question, was that unique to your environment? Was he like the only person that you were aware of as a child coming up that was practicing this kind of communion with nature in a way that would medicine making and all that? Or was it something that was more common?
He was like the Babalawo of the community. So it's a church community, but they all knew about spirituality. So they kind of hid it in church, but that's not what they practice. So they would go to him for healings and for ritual work and for clearings. Church people, even the pastor. But it was a very interesting experience as a kid watching that, because I grew up in California where church was so big and religious, but down in the South it was spiritual, and it was church was practiced in a religious way, but it was spiritual. Like they made reference to call and response, and some of the songs came from slavery. All of them came from slavery. And they sung a cappella. They had pianists and they had percussionists there, but they preferred the traditional in church. And that was like what Granddad was doing. I mean, he would sing to the plants. I don't think he ever went to church until my aunt passed. And in church, I saw him do something. He laid down in the middle of the church and offered a prayer. And everybody received it.
It's at your aunt's funeral?
Yes. I mean, Granddad was just unique, and I like the uniqueness because to me that was powerful, that he was tapped into something that was real. And yet, you know, I grew up in church and I saw the power of that. But the pastor had prostate cancer, and my grandfather shook his hand, and the cancer just left. I was like, I want to do that when I grow up. That's what I want to do.
So you had a clear understanding of power, like real power. And you knew it from that time that was powerful. I mean, you just said, that's what I want to do.
I knew my stepfather was an associate pastor. So I had a model of, like, they studied my mother and my father. They were Eastern Stars and Masons.
Yeah.
So I was reading the books and I saw the mystery, but they weren't teaching the mystery. But my grandfather was living in the
mystery. He was living the story.
He was living the story.
It wasn't a mystery.
He was actualizing it.
He demystified it.
I mean, he could make it rain.
I believe you. I believe you. Wow.
He would make it rain. He would make prayers and cultivate the energy, and he'd make it rain.
So, when did you move from that cocoon in Alabama and move out to California?
Well, my mom actually is how we got to California. She grew up in the same church when that bombing took place of those little girls. She was supposed to go, but my grandmother didn't get the dress. My grandmother sewed every Sunday and made new clothes for my mom. So that day she just didn't get it done. And my mom was like, okay, we just need to get out of here. But our roots were always in Alabama, but we moved to California.
You just said something I just can't skip over, Dr. Mark. Your grandmother used to make new clothes for your mother every weekend, every week.
Every Sunday.
I just want to pause and just take that in for a minute, because in this society where we have come, right now in terms of our modern interaction, that seems to be something that's so remarkable. And at the same time, when you see the public discourse going on right now, which in my opinion is encouraging, you see people reminding about how we used to do for self, do for self, do for self. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it just becomes kind of cliche. That's why I wanted to kind of highlight what you just shared. It becomes cliche, and it doesn't have any kind of practical, even though it's saying, economics and this and that, mm-hmm. It still seems in the abstract world, But it seems like it starts by just being who we are and really nurturing our ability to provide our basic necessities.
We were real powerful when we work with each other. I mean, someone might have nails and you might have wood, and collectively you would work together and build a house. Someone might have a lot of children and you might have the skills and the knowledge. And so you put the knowledge with the skills and the labor, and we could build barns. We could do anything. I saw those kind of communities as I was growing up, the collective, and how it worked for the whole. So the individuals were less important than the bigger picture.
Indeed. We're talking with Dr. Mark Armstrong, and you're tuned into the Ancestral Rock. Y'all might hear me mention Thursday from time to time. I didn't smoke nothing this morning or nothing. It's just that we're taping this for the radio. So from time to time, y'all might hear me make reference of Thursday. We're on every Thursday from 2 to 4 on WRFG 89.3 on the FM. Dr. Mark, I feel like we're going to be zigzag zigging, just going in and out, touching so-called past and the future and present. Of course, all in this conversation. So, bringing us up to today,
beautiful time of spring.
I wonder,
and there's something about spring that we're coming up to the beautiful time of spring. We're here in the beautiful time of winter. Let me just be clear, where after winter comes spring, as they say. And every season brings its gift. So one of the gifts of winter is stillness, rest, restoration, longer nights and shorter days, reflection, planning, analysis of that which came before, so that we can make sure that it's coming on in a stronger way, in a more efficient way, in a more beautiful and productive and relevant way in the new cycle. All of them things there. So keep on with the winter keepings on and get ready for springtime. We're going to continue with Dr. Mark and move forward. At about 3:30, we're expecting to be visited by some of the family from HABESHA. You've heard about the 23-year anniversary coming up, starting this strong end, and we want to get all the fullness about it. Stay tuned.
If you had to just kind of give a summary from your perspective as one who is gifted with the quality of allowing people to see their healing potential in themselves, showing people how the body heals itself. You know, you're very well known for that. If you had to kind of point to, I don't even want to say like 2 or 3 things that's wrong with the world, but more what I want to ask is, if you had to summarize the human condition as it relates to our health, how would you do so at this time? You just have to summarize that. We're going to dig deeper, but I just want a summary for now. Like, what is your main analysis of the condition of the world in general as it relates to our health?
It comes down to our biology of beliefs. To me, it stems from our perceptions, because our perceptions are actually controlled by our beliefs. And so we have to actually rewrite our beliefs so that we can rewrite our perception. I mean, we've been told a lot of things that were not really true. And so we act as if those things are real, but those are constructs in the matrix to stop us from really being who we came here to be, which is infinite beings. You know, you're God, I'm God, and that's all there is that consciousness. And so when we can teach people to get back to the truth, you know, that's what my grandfather knew. He didn't think anything other than a oneness with source, with God. And as oneness, you can move mountains.
Biology of beliefs. I mean, that's powerful.
Yeah, the biology of belief is actually dictating our physical health, the biology of how we are showing up. Disease is really related in many ways to our belief system.
Give me an example of what that is like.
Okay.
How that is the reality.
All right. So if one believes that the world is coming to an end, and they develop a lot of anxiety around that, that's going to lead to hypertension. It's going to lead to diverticulitis, colitis, irritable bowel. It's going to lead to a lot of digestive issues because your mind is making those issues. They're making the biology that you're living into. If you're worried about finances, then it goes to your back, and that's fear. And that fear could lead to chronic pain. That chronic pain will show up as a sciatic nerve issue. And that sciatic nerve is running all the way down to your feet, which represent moving forward in life. And so if we change that belief, then the body will change. The physiology will change.
So where did you get this information from? How I'm asking for somebody out there who is has been programmed. We use that word, or taught to just use that word, not to be disrespectful to anyone.
Yes,
you know, by Western medicine. You know,
some of it stems from a psychotherapist named Carol Truman, who wrote a book called "Feelings Buried Alive Never Die." She looked at case studies of her clients, and she made notes of their disease, and then talked about some of the emotional things that she gave them, affirmations and scripts to clear them. So that I studied. And then Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, that was one of my earliest insights, because Louise Hayes had brain cancer and she healed herself by changing her biology, her belief system.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that one. Please name the first one again. I'm going to write it in the chat so people can have a point of reference.
Carol Truman.
Carol Truman?
Yeah, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. That's a must book, because in her book on page 95, she gives a script which we use in our clinic to help people dismantle the programming.
Feelings buried alive, never die. Now I'm gonna take a while. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I can imagine how that can relate to, let's just say, African people for a minute.
Yes.
People who, and not just say let's just say first of all, people who are in the diaspora as a result of the transatlantic so-called slave trade, you know.
Yes.
And people who have endured all manner of things. A lot of that, again, is in the public discourse now. People reliving, you know, Jim Crow and all the atrocities, so many of them that have happened to us. What does that look like to a people's physiology, generally speaking? And then we can hone in even on, you know, on certain specific examples. What does that look like to a person's physiology, a people's physiology, when they have endured so much stress?
Depending on their faith and depending upon their consciousness, they tend to loop around the trauma.
Okay.
So it goes from one trauma to the next. So they're re-stimulated by the trauma.
Well, that's what you mean by loop around.
Looping, yes.
Help me understand that, please.
Well, if a person is experiencing a lot of violence, then that becomes normal for them to be around, you know, violence. And because it's so normal, there's a lot of allowance for that pain and trauma in their life. They don't see it as pain and trauma. That's normal. And so it's normal to have like a certain social consciousness where you care and where you don't care. Those are states of consciousness that we loop around until we elevate out of it. And there's ways that you can elevate out of it, because in some ways, the person that hurt you, you can become that person.
So and this whole concept of what you resist persists, for instance.
Exactly.
What help the lay person understand that, because we have been so, let me just say, even let's get to our revolutionary heritage, which has helped us to push the envelope in so many ways. And I wonder if it's good to have some assessment of some of the stories we tell or some of the language we use. Because resistance is known as a huge, a pillar of revolutionary activity, you know, resistance. And that's in context, you know. However, I wonder if that's just something that, if it can be dealt with in another way to achieve the prescribed or to achieve the desired goal of true liberation. Just the whole concept of resistance. I'd like to kind of dig into that for me.
Sure. Whatever you resist will persist. I think of Jack Johnson. You know, he's like a fighter way before Muhammad Ali, and yet born in a time of Jim Crow. He was free because he was free in his mind, the way he thought, the way he moved, and because he was congruent in what he knew, like the alignment of what he knew. People understood that. And my grandfather too. I mean, he was congruent in what he knew. And because he was so rooted in what he knew, people begin to know that's what he knows. So you don't bother him. He's not the one.
Right.
You know, he's just simply not the one. You know that. You don't have to tell people. They understand. Because the energy that you're moving with is so strong that it doesn't need to convince anybody. That's where we come from. And it's an alignment that you operate
the self-assurance, not the question.
Yeah, you You know, I grew up in Compton, California, so you have to look people in the eye, so you know what their intentions are. When the
Right.
police stop you, you know what the deal is, and
Right.
you know they know you're not the one to punk.
Right. 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 Right.
They know it.
You
They
know,
can try it.
Bob Marley and them have a song says "Screwface know who for frightened."
Right. That's right.
So how is it? Help us to understand. You've made it very clear. Help us to understand what happens in our, whether it's our physical reality or the biology of our beliefs, that takes us out of that to a place where we're attempting to prove something. How do we come from people who are so powerful? And this is not just a general question, even though it's been posed a million times. You know, from projects to pyramids. You know, I mean, or pyramids to projects. You know,
Yes.
all this kind of stuff. But what does that look like? Just
It really looks like the number of pieces of information, bytes of information that we are allowing ourselves to know. Like, for example, the conscious mind is able to only process like 3 things at a time and hold it correctly. But the subconscious mind could do 40,000 pieces of information per second. So one is like listening and breathing through a McDonald's small straw, and the other is the pipeline of the universe. The pipeline of the universe is the choice.
clearly.
But you got to get to the subconscious mind. You got to program the subconscious mind. You have to create that reality in your subconscious mind. And you do that when you're sleeping, and you also reinforce it during the day so that it begins to be who you are. Now, prayers do that, chants do that, invoking the spirit does that, libations do that. Uh, just the tea and fruit ceremonies that we do when we elevate our ancestors, feed them, that's locking it in. So it's never like you're without that source, because you become the source. That's why people don't bother you.
Because they see the real.
Yeah, it's your perfume, it's your aura.
And even as we say on the street, you know, it's always amazing to me. You say you grew up in Compton, California, so I know you know a little bit about the streets, even if you didn't, you know, weren't a street person, by osmosis,
Oh
right?
yeah.
You know,
Oh man.
but
You know,
there's so much wisdom in our street culture. You know, as we say, like real, recognize real. Something you just said a minute ago that took me back to a thought or a commonly used expression. You know, it left my mind again, but it's just there's so much metaphysical truth in even what we say. You know, scared money don't make none, and
yeah.
you know, what I mean, like you say, real, recognize real, and all this. It's like you there's something there about a fundamental essence of life that for some reason we get twisted and don't really carry with us consciously.
And it's cultivating. It's like a muscle uh, that you've been flexing, so it's always there. It's just who you are. Your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body. That's just the vibe that you operate with, and people know it. They sense your energy. They feel your energy, and your consciousness is supporting that which they know. So that's ever increasing, right? Because we're just so huge. In my office, I like to use conscious things to help people get there. So I'm using photons of light, and I'm using sound and frequencies, and even chairs that actually help to rewire the nervous system to pull us out of those states of the dark night of the soul that our ancestors have been through, that we are carrying out in our genes. So some of the pain that we are looping around is the incompletion of our soul.
Really, FM dial, yeah. It's WRFG Atlanta. 89.3 on the FM dial, your station for progressive information and hand-picked quality music. Dr. Mark Armstrong sharing with us, teaching hard. What y'all feel about what Dr. Mark is sharing? You know, the phone number up here is 404-523-8989. I got a few minutes that I can plug in with the item before our next special guest get on the line with us. 404-523-8989. Off of a program called The Anatomy of Fear, the healing power of love. We were tuned in with Garnet Silk a little earlier, and we had some technical difficulties with the line on both, so that's been straightened out. So we want to return to check out Dr. Garnet Silk. I said Dr. Garnet Silk. What a serious messenger of love. We just observed the anniversary of his assassination. You never heard him stutter. Yes, the case, of course, under investigation. The living silkworm, the human silkworm, came and he saw and he conquered. You know? Tune in.
Without your woes, come on and speak the book. Sad enough without your foes. Hey, we don't need no trouble. No. What we need is just love. We don't no more trouble. We don't need no more trouble.
Yes, I see myself as a messenger. I put through certain works in a musical form. I love all music. Reggae, funky, you name it. As long as when the vocal meets the instrument, no, the words of the vocalist is pure and true. I personally believe that some rhythms are instruments. Some instruments are innocent until the words are put to the instrument.
Let y'all be praised. Watch this. Nothing can divide us. Nothing separate us. Nothing can divide us. No one can stop me from loving you. And I know no one can praise. Watch this. Nothing can divide us. Nothing separate us. Nothing can divide us. No one can stop me from loving you. And I know no one can.
But Africa I come from. But I'm out in a different farm now. In a Jamaica. I'm a place in Manchester. I'm on the play already. Hatfield. Really. I'm a group there too. Yeah. A group of Hatfield, but we're on Bermuda, man. Yes. Should be the Hatfield, so I'm going to remember say. I'm Bermuda, man. You know? But after time, as I man get older, we decide say it's like we have to move up to Kingston, can up in the country musically. Yeah. So we start go and come in the city. From the city to the country. And after time I decided so I go stop DJ because I find myself dealing with singing more, you know, better. I realized that Josh when I start singing my real thing.
Yes, I. Whoa. There are 7 Spanish changes, all the arms around the sun. They were praying for the lover in the valley of the gun. So when the box was stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. And 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. He looked down in her deep brown eyes. He said, say a prayer for me. She threw her arms around them, whispered, God will keep us free. So they could hear the riders coming. He said, this is my last fight. If they take me back to Texas, they won't take me back alive. There were 7 Spanish angels. Love that one time. One love.
From a band of music, me know. But if you say the public, when we start like sing for people now, like sing for a massive. From my man about 13, I'm bridging them take me to a dance one night. And I asked the sound man for make me talk 2 things. Because them time I used to DJ now. I was a DJ first. And the sound one I never told me touch the mic. I look like, you know, I look at you and then come like, you know, I would check say, I don't know, joke thing my DVD and I dance. Anyway, my brother them kind of get serious when him and force him to touch it because they know. They believe in that them look DJ them time, you know. And touch it and the place rip up.
Times in our life, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, 'cause it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, 'cause no one can feel your wants and your needs if you won't let it show. Listen, you just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. Yeah. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on me. When you're not strong, then I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, 'cause it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Yeah, you can call on me, sister, if you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, just remember, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load. If you just call me, have to call me. Yeah.
come realize that Jah the only way, and I have call upon him in good times and bad times. And I willing to do so. And you know, I know there's no other way. So true, Jah teach I to love myself. I just go and take care of my little self here, sir. Try my best and make Jah do the rest. That's all I can tell him, brother. So last I know, I don't know much. I don't know what, much to say, but I know say Jah if you call upon something, just go and do it.
Watch this. Got to see my way through. Yeah. Listen.
Oh yes. What happened 5,000 years ago and what happened 5 minutes ago occupies the same room in consciousness. Mm-hmm. This is the life of our world. And within this great room lies thousands of years. So that the assumption that because something is dead or something happened years ago, that it doesn't really matter. The streets we walk through were made by the dead. Most of the houses and buildings in our city are made by the dead. Most of the books that you read were written by the dead. So the dead are still alive in us. Our consciousness, which is where our real life is a life that draws heavily upon what is past, what is dead. So that we become small when we occupy only one small room in consciousness. We become huge. We become greater people when we occupy all these...
The whole mansion.
Yes, the whole mansion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What can you tell us about the beginnings of mankind and womankind?
Well, we now know, and we have extraordinary capacities now to find out what really happened in the world. We are rediscovering the universe, for example. We're finding, for example, we thought, just a few years ago, we thought that the universe was about 16 billion years old, and therefore it's in its evening. We only discovered a few weeks ago, because of our new machines, we've discovered the universe is young. The universe is only 8 billion years old, and that we are in the morning, we are not in the evening of times. We've discovered extraordinary things about the beginnings of man. We have...
Go on forever. Right there. The ancestral rock. And that's been tuning into some voices of our ancestors, from the great Garnet Silk to the one you're listening to now, the great Baba, Ivan Van Cernema, who said that they came before Columbus and didn't just say it, he gave actual facts, he gave receipts and deep proof. He didn't stop there though, and we're not going to stop. It's the liberation journey. Again, greeting you in the name of love, and I'm praying that you're feeling well. We have some very special guests getting ready to join us. They're waiting in the wings. Of course, we've been hearing about the 23-year anniversary of HABESHA Incorporated, helping Africa by establishing schools, y'all, at home and abroad. So stay tuned to yourself. I want to just run this one more tune, and then we're going to get forward to our special guest. Hear music.
Here I come again, Jaja, before our presence be singing. Lord, watch over our shoulders tonight and help us live our words tomorrow. Let's not forget where we're from, for the show us the way to go. You said I must love and feed my enemies, and I'm gonna do it. You said I shouldn't change or grudge, and I won't, not even for a minute. Let all the truth come from my lips. Bless her soul, stop it out to be
Here a Garnet Silk say, I'll put in my selector.
No, I'm doing an interview.
30 minutes after the hour, you're tuned into that. We're getting ready to take a special flight
hospital
across the Atlantic.
Yeah, you're doing it in hospital.
Journey.
Yeah.
We just gone to the Mississippi same way, circle the earth,
Yeah, it was showing some of the little.
Heart. Mama Africa.
Where you go? You said I must love and feed my enemies, and I'm gonna do it. You said I shouldn't change or grudge, and I won't, not even for a minute. Let all the truth come from my lips. Bless her soul, So without you, we can't make it. Don't put shoulders tonight. Help us take our words tomorrow. Let's not forget where we're from. Or show us the way to go. Walk away with the deep highways. See me through all the ways. You lifted me when I was down. Now you have me standing on the ground. Don't watch over shoulders tonight. Help us take our words tomorrow. Let's not forget where we're from. Or show us the way to go. How excellent is thy name. Deliver us from sin and shame. Out of the mountain, baby, something more than strength. Oh, Jah, I'm depending on you. Oh,
Help I know. Oh,
Yeah. Cove Eye.
Special guest name.
There you go. Bop, 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 bop.
Progressive information. We got the HABESHA family on the line.
Yes, all right.
Tune in.
Holy land, Rasta said, this is the land of the man who broke the law. Holy land, Rasta said, pick up the sign for the farmer, make we holy land, Rasta said, this is
the land of the young. You know. And if you don't know, there's no shame around here, because that's what helping Africa means. That's what school means. That's what education really all about, even in this foreign language that we're speaking. The word educe, the root, to bring out of one that which already resides in one. So the whole point is there's nothing foreign to you. So feel good in the neighborhood. I know you dig the groove. It's something familiar, don't it? Yeah, Mama is our home. Mama Earth, the cradle. As our sister Leah Penniman said in the book, Farming Wild Black, the land was the scene of the crime, but the land was not the criminal. It became necessary to remind the people of that, and the reason why we feel it's necessary to bring that up in this moment as we introduce our special guest then is because there was a time when, you didn't have to be reminded about eating the vegetables. And it's still there. And this is the time that we're seeing right now, that reactivation, where it's becoming more apparent. We acting like we know it, And so one of the organizations that has assisted us in that process, in terms of bringing us again in beautiful reflection of ourselves, instead of, this history started with slavery, and anytime a black man try to do something in the world, they gonna kill him, and the disempowered kind of narrative is HABESHA, helping Africa by establishing schools at home and abroad. So we're grateful for 23 years of this, which in the span of time is just a drop in the bucket, not even a drop, And in the same way, a year is like 1,000 days, and 1,000 a day is like 1,000 years, So it's so profound the effect that this organization has had on our community, and this is our local community, our global community. Again, we greet those of y'all joining us all over the World Wide Web on WRFG.org, those tuned in with us on our live streams on the social media networks and YouTube and all that. Without any further ado, I want to welcome two representatives of HABESHA, and I love the it's not a mix. I love the blend. I love the balance, because one is from the foundation and one is from the foundation in another way. Is a sister, is a mama, and we come from that womb. But she's a relatively new graduate of HABESHA and participant in this movement. So I want to welcome them both to the studio, talking about our brother Cashawn Myers, otherwise known as Bingy Sean, and our sister Shantana Ashe. Long
Peace,
time.
peace.
Hey, how you doing? Both of y'all. Greetings.
You already know, man. We're giving thanks, man, to be here and be in the A. I came in during the snow. The weather's a little nicer today. I know Saturday is gonna be real nice and all next week. So we're glad to be here and alongside my sister Eshe. It's good to be present, you know.
Ashe. Yes, beautiful times, great times to celebrate. You can see the shifting of the seasons slowly but surely coming along. The birds are doing its thing. The sky is looking like we on the horizon. So I'm just in a good space, you know.
Beautiful,
Grateful to be
beautiful,
here.
beautiful. I'm glad to have both of y'all here. We're gonna dip right in because one of the things about the nature's classroom is very animated, you know.
Oh yeah.
And we are in a time of revelation. They say the age of information, all these things, the age of Aquarius. Most scholars, depending on even their perspective on things, all agree that we are squarely in the age of Aquarius now, which means the age of enlightened knowledge and starting with knowledge of self and truth, the revelation of truth and all that stuff. So with all that happening, a lot of times, because it's also an air age, we tend to be in our heads a lot, you know, and even in our discourse, it becomes very intellectual, which of course our intellect, needs stimulation. And what the beautiful thing about nature's classroom is, it touches all the elements. It invokes all the senses. So I'm happy to have y'all as a means of having some of that discourse this afternoon. Even as a means again of introducing to the world what Habesha is. I don't want to assume that anyone on the call knows, or not on the call, but on our broadcast today knows what Habesha is. I got a feeling some of y'all do though, and some of y'all when y'all heard that theme music right there, it brought you back to the Healer's Garden Club.
Long time.
Big Cashawn, what do you know about that tune there, man?
Man, look, man, yeah, I was just telling somebody just the other day that there's certain like songs and smells that evoke a certain time and space. And so as soon as I heard it, man, I was in the WRG studio, man. Like it transported me to the studio in them times when we used to be in there just reasoning and building with D, Majumbe, Ross Noel, and really building the foundation for what a lot of what Habesha is now, man, was really
pick up the man called James Bull.
Yeah, bring up James
Bull. JB, it was always in the place.
Man, that's what I say. So we give thanks,
Jerome.
man. Full circle, you know what I mean?
All these bridges, yes.
We're in a full circle moment to where, give thanks, to the eye. I always have to big up WRG, all the air shifters over the past 23 years, because WRG was there from before. We was had any organic fest, before we did any programs. WRG has been supporting and the listeners. So yeah, everyone just big up WRG who's always been a part. Big up Wanisha Bass, from that time to this time, and all the air shifters. So that evoked definitely a sense of nostalgia, and also bringing it forward, because again, we even though we can think about and reminisce on the past, we in the present right now preparing for the future, and it's the same thing. It hasn't changed,
Serious thing, and that's where I want to go, just to refresh us for those who are not aware. We speak of those early days of Habesha and the energy that was being galvanized, the energy that was being really channeled in this city, in Atlanta, and many other places. It spread like wildfire, quick. And again, this is for those who know, they already know. However, I want to bring other people up to speed. One of the things I remember, I've said this to you before, Brother Cashawn. I remember when Sizzla, as an example, when Sizzla came on the scene, there was a time of darkness in the dance hall. There was a time of just slackness. And then a lot of the elders had lost. I don't prescribe to hope, but let's use that word today, since we're talking in English thing. They lost faith. They lost the encouragement. They're saying like, man, the seeds that we've sown are taking root, And then Sizzla came with the music, something about the music, and it's like I seen elders like skipping, to the voice of a youth. And it's the same thing with Habesha. In terms of a global movement of repatriation, African consciousness, Pan-Africanism, a tangible thing, So we hear it again in this time. It's interesting a time of that many people are feeling despair. I won't say it's a time of despair. That would be dishonest of me. I don't see it that way there, you know. But it's a time where many people are feeling despair, and we acknowledge that.
Of course.
And here comes again. It's like the instinct kicks in, and then people start asking, "Well, who am I?" You know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing. That's the first thing when we got to orient ourselves. Like, who am I? What am I working with? You know?
Mm-hmm.
What are my tools, even for defense, even if it's that, you know? So here is HABESHA again. So just bring us up to speed in terms of some of those first fruits, some of those first inspirations, Cashawn, before we bring in our sister Ishe to share with us what she saw and what drew her to the tree that had already been planted at that time, though. But talk to us about some of them first inspiration, the impetus for HABESHA.
Yeah, well, I just want to touch on something that I said, Cole, for like, you know, Marcus Garvey has a famous quote and really a prophecy where he says our people won't really know ourselves until our back is against the wall, you know. And, you know, in some ways, not that our back is against the wall, but it's really that when we have uncertainty and untimes, when things aren't as clear as we would like them to be, that's when we get to really know who we are. So as we see a shift and change, because it's not just in America, it's shifting. It's a global shift right now. That's what everyone's talking about. And so, you know, I was talking that, you know, one see the glass either half empty or half full. You know, we've always been the half full side of things, because even in the midst of everything as African people that we've gone through, the fact that we're still here, the fact that we still have our humanity, our love is amazing, right? That that's a testament to our strength, you know, the bloodline that we come from. So I love to celebrate. I'm not naive and not recognizing the challenges we have ahead of us and the challenges we've been through. At the same time, I don't want to negate the work, the strength our ancestors have given us and have shown in examples, because that's the shoulders that we stand on, really.
And that's the balancing of the equation right there. It's not like it's really, when you look at the nature of things, I don't tend to see that there's any true opposition to the creative force. I see it more like there's opportunities for creation, you know, humanity, especially to strengthen ourselves and to know ourselves. And that's how you know yourself, you know. Sometimes you actually pray for love, and what you get. You get the opportunity to demonstrate love,
right?
Right. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth, you know. So here we are.
No, and that's truly it. Like, you know, it's like when you say love is an action word, you know, it's a verb, and we can act out love in so many ways. And really, I would say that's the foundation of HABESHA, really, is the example that the love that our ancestors, those before us, have put into us. You know, I think of Mama Araminta, you know what I mean, Harriet Tubman, and the love that she had, even when she had to hold the shotgun up and force some people. That was an act of love to tell them, look, I want you to get free, right? And look at how we held her, you know, today, you know, 150, almost 200 years later, we still can use her as a great inspiration. So HABESHA stands on the shoulders of those like Marcus Garvey, those like Harriet Tubman, those like Queen Nzinga, Yaa Asantewaa, Kwame Nkrumah. We stand on their shoulders, Edward Wilmot Blyden. And really the whole idea when we started was to make sure that our people connect to who we truly are, our true selves, right? And because that was the thing that was taken from us, our true identity. Because once we know who we are, there's nothing we can't accomplish, right? That's as simple as it is. That our intellect is limitless. Our powers are limitless. We limit ourselves. And so HABESHA has really been always to help us individually and collectively tap into our full power, so that we can not only heal and build ourselves, but ultimately we got to build the whole world. Like, we African people, we are that root. And so with a fruit tree, like I tell people, if your fruit is not good on your tree, you're looking to see what's going on in the soil. What nutrients are the roots getting? And so when we see the fruits, which is the effects of what the neglect that Mama Africa and her people have had, and we see how the chaos in the world, we have to check the root. The root is Mama Africa, and nurturing that both on a physical level, a spiritual, emotional level, the reconnection that we have as African people. So that's what HABESHA has been about. You know, Ross Kofi, you've been instrumental part of the growth of Habesha, particularly around our urban ag work. You know, I just reminisce back in the day when me and you used to be in our backyards, and I'll come over and hold the vibes at the ag place. You come to my place. We just talking about growing food and connecting. And next thing you know, we got a program on WRFG, Healers Garden Club. Next thing, Organic Fest come. You know what I mean? Harvest Fest, Habesha Work, Sustainable Seeds. Like, it really just has been an on-growth. The movie nights, the African Film Showcase at Georgia State, we've just always been about connecting our people and being a part of that healing. So this is just an opportunity for us to continue. You know, we have this celebration coming up on Saturday, the 1st, which is our 23rd birthday celebration. And it really is just a celebration of that energy, that healing force that we see. And now the beautiful thing is taking root, and it's now growing like you know, like an abundant plant, like a prolific plant. This is like, you know, how beans and certain plants, they just grow and grow. Like, we getting that abundance right now, man. We see how the movement has been seeded in the metro Atlanta area, and now it's grown in a way to where Habesha, we can celebrate, and now we can really uplift those who have become alumni and going through our programs and now are really accelerating and lifting it. And Sister Eshe is one of those sisters who is one of those fruits that have now even begun to bear more fruit. And so we're excited to be able to celebrate 23 years, but really celebrate those who've been a part of the Habesha family, who've made Habesha what it is over the past 23 years.
To give thanks. And I want to bring in Sister Eshe. Just want to take a break and play this very important announcement. Y'all stay tuned. We're reasoning with our sister Shantana Eshe and Cashawn Myers of Habesha. Stay tuned to yourself.
On Saturday, February 1st, from 5 to 8 p.m., HABESHA Inc., Atlanta's premier Pan-African organization, will be holding its 23rd Earth Day celebration. This year's theme is Earth's Elegance, celebrating tradition and sustainability. That's 23 years as a nonprofit organization serving the Atlanta community by cultivating leadership in youth and families through practical experiences in cultural education, sustainable agriculture, entrepreneurship, technology, and holistic health. Guests will receive a 3-course plant-based meal and live entertainment. Once again, the event will be held on Saturday, February the 1st from 5 to 8 p.m. and will be hosted at the Arts Exchange, located at 2148 Noonan Street, East Point, Georgia. For more information, habeshainc.org. This has been another public service announcement from your listener-sponsored and supported community radio station, WRFG 89.3 FM, WRFG.org.
Join WRFG's Resistance Cinema for free monthly screenings of radical films at the Little 5 Points Community Center. Through watching and discussing overlooked global cinema, Resistance Cinema provides a space to deepen our political education and foster community. All screenings will be held at the Harlan Joy Community Room 105, followed by a discussion of the film's themes. For information about dates of screenings or to RSVP, please visit wrfg.org/resistance cinema. We'll see you there.
89.3 on the FM dial, WRFG Atlanta. Welcome to the airways, our sister Shantana Eshe. Eshe, you've been here with us, and I'm hearing what Cashawn has to say here about some of our reminiscing. You, again, as he just mentioned so poignantly, you know, you came and were able to see something that was already in place. Now, I'm always interested to hear from so-called layperson perspective, you know? Like when you in the work doing it, it might not be perceived in the same way. What did you see as a young woman walking through this earth, you know, on your own journey in Atlanta? What did you see that attracted you to Habesha?
Great question. What's so interesting is I was introduced to Habesha through Brother Otis. one of our HABESHA graduates, and I was assisting at a garden just because I like to be outside in nature. And we were just having conversations, and he was like, if you like to be outside and you like to put your hands in the dirt, you may enjoy being connected to this organization. And he gave me the information for HABESHA. I didn't know anything about HABESHA. This was in like November of 2016. I didn't know anything about HABESHA. And just based off of the conversation and the vibes that he gave, I just was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And so what I saw and what I continue to see is a level of Black excellence that a lot of maybe historic institutions claim to have, but I see it operating. I see a love for self. I see a love for community. And even as someone that went through the HABESHA Works class in 2017, I had been in Atlanta since 2010, and I personally didn't have a sense of community. However, on the other side of going through HABESHA, some of my greatest sister friends, some of my greatest brother friends, I connected through my connection with HABESHA. So even just, touching the earth, learning what it means to be a person of color and being able to look at the sun and the moon and, have a connection with the different seasons, and even just to have another reason to be Black and proud, not just the February, 1st through 29th or 28th season, but what it means to be Black, to be headstrong, to be knowledgeable, to be connected. And I think what's also interesting is you don't just find community, you don't just learn about growing food. You're connected with dynamic people who care. And on the other side of HABESHA, Cashawn, I don't even know if you know this, but the name Eshe is what came after going through HABESHA, because I felt a sense of purpose. I felt like I wanted to begin to pour into my community. And when I decided that I was going to step into my artistry more, it was really because I saw people in HABESHA doing work that they felt mattered, and the name Eshe came. And so it's a part of who I am. And so I do the work that I do now because I think that organizations and movements like this should be supported, because there's nothing but love. I get to see people that didn't have children have children. I get to see their children raised. I get to see people come together in union. It has just been such a dynamic and heartfelt experience, truly. Like, it is Black excellence in a way that I have only experienced at my home church growing up in the country, and so that's the level of community and fellowship that you get exposed to.
So that's beautiful. That's a beautiful testimony. That's beautiful because it's heartfelt, you know what I mean? And again, we came in talking about, maybe some of the woes of the world and everything. And so to be able to speak in terms of solution and to have that kind of energy be at the root of it, something that is very encouraging, because one of the things that everyone is reaching for is family. Family. You know what I mean? In some way, in one form or shape, it's family, and that is again on our lips, on our hearts these days, because we see that the individualism that the enemies of our humanity try to push is not anything that's really real. We're running out of time according to somebody's clock, so I want to jump into the celebration that's taking place. We've heard a lot about it. We just heard the promo again. So we got a couple minutes on the clock to be able to share a little bit more about the details of the very present celebration coming up, this whole week of celebration of the birthday.
Yes, so I definitely want to share that it is at the Arts Exchange this Saturday from 5 to 8. Doors do open at 4:30. We're having our Earth Elegance green carpet experience. So it's an opportunity for you to show up, to be connected, to learn more about our organizations, and to help us celebrate those that have been doing work. We have different presentations on information in regards to the community work. We are honoring those that have done work within our network, as well as those that have supported the work that we have been doing. And it's a festival, it's a feast, it's a party, it's light vibes, and it's just really an opportunity for us to come together to gather, get information, and see what rises forward. And of course, we have our after party spot at 992. So it's just really an opportunity for us to be in a season of celebration, love, and continuation in the work. And Cashawn, if you wanted to add something.
No, and for me, this is special because I haven't been to a birthday celebration since 2019. That was the last HABESHA birthday celebration that I was at. I'm usually on the other side of the waters during this time, so this one is special to me because that 2019 I had a blast and again at the Art Center. So
HABESHA parties always be lit too. That's
man. I'm so amped right now, and like you said, this is really a week-long celebration, right? We're starting on the 1st at the Arts Exchange, as Sister Eshe said, 5 to 8, and on the 3rd of February, we're partnering with Black Sustainability Inc. And we're doing a Blacks in Sustainability event at the Auburn Avenue Research Library from 5 to 7. Then on the 4th, we're going to be at the Atlanta Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Atlanta, and we're going to be discussing reparative agriculture. And we have that's a part of the South Conference Regional Agricultural Conference that's going on. So we'll be there. And February 1st is actually the actual date of HABESHA's birthday. 2002 is when HABESHA became into an existence. So we're going to be at the South Conference at the Hilton Garden Inn downtown on the 2nd from 2:30. On the 4th from 2:30 to 5:30. That evening we're going to be at Atlantucky Brewery, which is also downtown, for a Black Farmer Mixer from 6 to 9. And then we're closing it out on the 5th of February, where we're doing another reparative agricultural panel at the Georgia World Congress Center, where we'll have some special people, including what we call the Queen Mother of agriculture, particularly in the South, Mama Shirley Sherrod. She's going to be on one of our panels along with many others. So we're just excited to celebrate. We feel like this is just a great time. Of course, they call it Black History Month. We celebrate year round, but we definitely kicking it off in the right way. I want to see as many of the family over the years, those who've been listening to WRFG, who heard me, who've been inspired by the work that we've done, come out, celebrate with us on the 1st, come to all the events. You know, I'm in town. I'll only be in town for really another week, so I definitely want to see as many of the family. And just give thanks. You know, I want to give a big shout out to the HABESHA team for making this happen. Sister Aisha has been working tirelessly, Brother Steve, Masterpiece, the whole events team, everyone who's been doing this work, you know. And it's a great honor for me, honestly, Kofi, because you know, I spend most of my time in Ghana right now. And the beautiful thing is that HABESHA hasn't skipped a beat. HABESHA hasn't stopped just because I'm physically not present. And that's really a testament to the rest of the team who have the passion, who have the love for our people and the commitment. So it's a way for me to celebrate and just give thanks for all of those who've been a part of the HABESHA family and supported us over the past 23 years.
True indeed. So we got to get out of here. We got a couple seconds. So I want to thank you both for tuning in with us. Give us the website real quick where people can get more information.
www.habeshainc. That's HABESHAINC.org. They can also check us on social media at the handles at HABESHA Inc. That's at HABESHA Inc. So again, family, this Saturday, the 1st at Arts Exchange from 5 to 8. Monday, Auburn Avenue Research Library from 5 to 7. On Tuesday at the Atlanta Hilton Garden Inn.
Yeah, we got to get right out of here.
So give thanks again, family. We look forward to seeing you. All right, Ross Kofi.
What's up?
Pick up everyone else. Bless.
Thank y'all. What's up? Stay tuned, family. We're going to make a move out of here. You're tuned to WRFG Atlanta, 89.3 on the FM dial. Stay tuned.
On the frequency of 89.3 megahertz, as authorized by the Federal Communications Commission. Opinions expressed on WRFG do not necessarily represent the opinions of Radio Free Georgia Broadcasting Inc., its staff, or volunteers. This program contains language and/or information which may be strong for some listeners. Portions of this program are pre-recorded. Discretion is advised.
On the outside, I am not my age, I am not my race, my soul inside is I am the light defined. I am the guardian inside. I am a star, piece of it all. I am light.